Welcome to rSlash Idontworkherelady, where OP gets fired from a job he never had in the first place. I work at a college, not as a teacher or teacher's assistant, but as Dynamic 365 specialist. So I'm in the IT department. But I'm not the guy who comes to your desk to fix your computer. I'm an expert in a specific system. This all means that while I do work here, I do not work here, where here is the desktop services team. This is relevant because one day I'm at work at the IT office and I hear a knock on the door. For reference, the actual area where we work is on the second floor of a building. The other floors are used for storage, and there's a single staircase that connects them. At the bottom of that staircase is an access control door. If you don't have the code, you're not getting in. So I get up, lock my PC, head downstairs, and open the door. I'm faced with some random teacher holding a laptop who shoves it at me and says, "This is broken. Fix it or give me a new one and do it now." My response is the classic, "Sorry, I'm not part of the desktop services team. If you'd like me to leave a ticket number for the ticket you've raised, then I'll get one of the technicians to contact you when they get back." Teacher engages Karen mode. "Give me a new computer. You IT people, you're all so lazy. All you do is play computer games all day. We know you always lie to us." She goes on. I stop listening. I respond with a repetition of the previous statement, and when she doesn't listen, I just close the door on her. This is where it gets really fun. Her response is to throw the laptop at the door. Laptop 0, door 1. And then she shouts that she's friends with the head of IT and will get me fired as she storms off. So I pull out my phone and call my boss. Coincidentally, my direct boss is the head of IT services and she's amazing to work for. Explain what just happened and ask her what I should do. She, my boss, asks me if the asset tag on the laptop is still in the wreckage by the door. Happily, it is. This lets us find out who's the person responsible for the laptop. Long story short, my boss talks to her boss and she gets fired for gross misconduct and destruction of company property. And the funny thing is, I'm sure the reason why her laptop wasn't working was just because she didn't turn it off and turn it back on again. Our next Reddit post is from It's a Burner. "I never thought I would experience this in my lifetime. I'm a hard worker, extremely dependable and respectful. Not sure how I could lose a job like this, especially when I only just got it. So I work late, and just about every night for the last few weeks at least, I stop by Walmart to get something for dinner. I usually get off around midnight and stop by on my way home. Every time I'm at Walmart, barely anyone is there except for the night crew, stocking up the store and doing their own thing. Now, from what I've noticed, they don't have much of a uniform. Many of them are in hoodies or jackets of different colors, just to add some context. I showed up last night and I'm wearing a hoodie. I begin to walk up and down the aisles trying to figure out what I want for dinner. I'm thinking pasta and walk past a few guys who are loading the shelves. All of a sudden, I start hearing this guy yelling. This voice gets louder. "Hey, hey, are you listening?" I turn to look to see what's going on and this guy approaches me. "You're late again. Don't think I haven't noticed you walking in the door after 12. I begin to laugh, thinking this guy's joking around. Before I can even say anything, he jumps on me. "You think this is funny? Your job must not be important to you. I want you to follow me to the office." Now, I'm completely confused and start looking around like I'm on some hidden camera show. He starts to walk off and I turn around and go back to shopping. He comes back a minute later and starts to yell, "You want to be fired? Because if you don't come with me now, I will fire you." I start to laugh even harder, then ask him, "What's my name?" He gives me a puzzled look, so I asked him again, "What's my name? Do you even know who I am?" He looks at the other guys in the aisle, who have stopped stocking the shelves at this point to watch this event unfold. He then looks back to me, trying to figure out what exactly to say to me before his head explodes. Good luck filing the paperwork to fire me when you don't even know my name. I continue to laugh at this whole stupid charade. I pick up some ingredients for spaghetti, trying to give this guy a clue. He storms off, and I look at the other guys in the aisle. I'm sure he'll figure out eventually I don't work here. They start laughing, and I go on. Can't believe I lost the job I just found out I had the same night. There is a 100% chance that this manager went into the back and is frantically searching through all the files trying to figure out who you are so he can fire you. You should come in tomorrow, late again, and demand your final paycheck. Our next Reddit post is from Mostly Gruntled. Firstly, this didn't happen to me. I was with the person when they received a phone call about the issue, then he explained it all to me. He's not on Reddit, so I'm sharing it. It's priceless. The names are changed to protect identities. Listed buildings. This is important to the story. In the UK, there's a system for preserving ancient and important buildings. If a building has historical importance, it's known as a listed buildings. And the rules about how it's developed, maintained, and improved are very strict. I need to be vague about the work involved, otherwise it's too easy to identify the parties involved. My friend David is skilled in a very niche area of construction. He repairs and renovates buildings using a very old construction method that hasn't been common for several centuries. All his work is on conservation projects and listed buildings. The work was required on a Grade 1 listed property. The overall building work was being done by the main contractor, ACC Limited. One part of the work is very specialized. The contractor's managers didn't know anyone who did it, so the architect gave them a list of qualified people. The contractors chose my friend because he had the earliest availability. 5 days into the work, the owner of ACC Limited, the main contractor company, arrived on site. He was throwing his weight around, being a noisy gobshite, David's words. David was just doing his job and ignored him. The guy told one of his carpenters to get him a coffee. The carpenter disappeared. Noisy gobshite continued wandering and gobbing off about delays costing him a fortune. 15 minutes after the carpenter had disappeared, the noisy gobshite asked my friend a question. "Where is that effing chippy with my coffee?" A chippy's a carpenter. My friend said, "Don't know." "Go and find out." "I'm only here for this job," pointing to the walls. "I don't work for ACC Limited." "I don't give a flip whether you're an employee or a subcontractor. You still work for me. Now go and find my effing coffee." Firstly, I don't appreciate being talked to like that. And secondly, my contract with you is to do these walls, nothing more. I'm definitely not a gopher. "Oh, you don't appreciate being talked to like that, do you? Which subcontractor do you work for?" "None. I'm self-employed. It's just me." "An effing day laborer? And you've got the nerve to talk like that? Do you know who I am?" "Yep." "Well, you're effing fired. Get off the effing site now." "Okay, put it in writing." "F off. Just get off the effing site." David pulled his phone out and started recording. "Okay, I'll go. I just want proof you told me to go." Noisy gobshite grabbed David's hand holding the phone and screamed into the phone. "Get off the site, you effing idiot! You're fired! If you're still here in 10 effing minutes, I'll have you effing thrown out." "Cool, no problem." He picked up all his kit and walked away. As he was leaving, the contractor site manager passed him, ironically with a coffee for the boss, and with a smile said, "You leaving early, Dave? Bloody part-timers," joking. "No, your boss just fired me. Our contract is ended. Sorry, mate." No. Let me sort this out. Wait, please wait." David left. The site manager was losing his cool because he knew something that Noisy Gobshite didn't. Only 7 people in the UK are qualified to do the work. They all have a waiting list, and David had been the only one available. By the time he was home, he had 12 missed calls. That was Thursday. 2 working days missed so far. He said he'll go back out, but only if he gets paid for the extra days and has a genuine apology in person from the boss. I met my friend when he was getting a call from the site manager saying the boss apologizes but is out of the country, so can't apologize face to face. David also told me he phoned the other specialist to warn them, but they'd all been phoned on Friday begging them to do the job. Nobody took the work. They're all booked solid. David also phoned the architect to warn him. Situations like this, some unscrupulous contractors try to botch the job and fake the work. David is going to stick to his guns. Pay for all missed days, plus face-to-face apology. He's sure he'll get it. I've said I'll pay anything to watch a face-to-face apology. Update. Site manager phoned to say he was told by Noisy Gobshite to threaten legal action if David doesn't finish the job. Site manager was very embarrassed and apologetic. David reminded him he didn't leave and has proof that he was fired. Site manager phoned again to say Noisy Gobshite will apologize face-to-face on Friday. Can David start tomorrow? David said no. Following the threat of legal action, the conditions are different. 1. Face-to-face apology before work restarts. 2. Added pay for wasted days. 3. Payment of full contract value upfront before work starts. 4. All must happen by Thursday. That's the last day he can start and still expect to finish before his next booking. If he also works the weekends, he has just enough time. I asked him why he isn't charging a huge extra amount for the guy being such a wanker. He said it doesn't look good if you take advantage of companies when they're under time pressure. It's not the done thing. It seems that one of my friends is an 18th century gentleman. Update 2. Unfortunately, it seems there will be no apology. David has discovered that the site manager was blamed for not making Noisy Gobshite aware of the situation beforehand and was fired. David contacted the operations director for ACC Limited, Noisy Gobshite's number 2, and informed them that an apology is no longer required as he will not be returning to the job. The ops director apologized for everything and offered to renegotiate the money very generously. David told him that he had only considered going back to the job as a personal favor to the original site manager. Since he isn't there, he feels no obligation to return. The ops director said he'll get back to David, but didn't say why. I asked why he didn't say, give him his job back or I won't come back. David said, Noisy Gobshite is too petty and weak to be told what to do by a craftsman. It'll have to be the company's idea for the site manager to come back. If I tell them to bring him back, it won't happen. David says the site manager is great at his job, but is only 4 years from retirement, so it's not easy to find a job at 61. I've decided I like David even more than I did 3 days ago. Update 3. It's 2 a.m. here. We've just got back from the pub. David got a call while we were out from the sacked site manager. David updated the architect on the situation this afternoon. The architect contacted the sacked site manager to tell him about a company who needs a site manager. The sacked site manager phoned David just before 9 p.m. I had to sit through the phone call, only hearing one side. I must have looked childishly excited, like I'd got an arse full of sparrows. Then David filled me in. The site manager rang to thank him and find out his favorite drink so we can send him a bottle. He hasn't got the new job yet, but he's seeing them on Friday. Apparently, the architect's recommendation carries some weight, so he's optimistic. David refused at first, saying, I didn't get you a job, the architect did. The site manager said, but you set all this stuff in motion and told the architect that I'd been fired. Because of you, I never have to deal with that obnoxious pillock ever again. David wasn't specific about who the obnoxious pillock was. We'll have to guess. David said his drink is Cardew Gold Reserve. He said he'll accept the bottle only if A, the site manager gets the new job, and B, the site manager will come over and drink the Cardew with David. All good news, hopefully, except that nobody gets to see that tosspot, Noisy Gobshite eat poo when he has to apologize. I was so looking forward to that. Update 4. The operations director for ACC Limited phoned David to suggest that they take the site manager back and generously renegotiate the money. David says they've missed the boat. There is no way he can finish the job on his own before he starts his next job. There's an absolute minimum of 11 days work left if everything goes without a hitch. David's next job starts on the 4th of November. Only 10 days left if he works both weekends. Too late. I wish I could be a fly on the wall when Noisy Gobshite is told. So, at the beginning of the story, when this guy was complaining about all the delays in production, I think I have an idea what's causing those delays. That was rSlash Idontworkherelady, and this is rSlash Puppy Bloopers. Her response is to throw the laptop at the door. Dog. And then shouts that she's friends with the head of IT. And then shouts that she's friends with the head of dog. All his work is on conservation projects and listed. Here you go, I gotta work. Hugo, no. Nope. I said no. No. Dog. Ow, my ear. Pupper. Oh, woof. Arf, arf, arf. God, you're so needy. I gotta work, bud. Work time. Work.